And welcome back to the Profile Pod. I'm your host, Double A, back for another spectacular episode of the pod, man. Nice to have everyone here tonight. And thank you for tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from. We have another dandy in store for you tonight, man. Another amazing guest who's standing by right now. I want to thank everybody for showing love on Instagram, social media, YouTube, all that. It's all good, man. I really appreciate it. So I always want to mention that at the beginning of the episode. This is the podcast that brings on individuals doing extraordinary things in life to inspire the human spirit. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a gentleman who has just doing exceeding everything I just mentioned. And he's doing big things in the entertainment world with his platform. We met just about a year ago officially because the Chicano Hollywood had their mixer. Gosh, I can't believe it's almost a year ago, December 1st of last year. It just seems like it was a few months ago or something like that. And it was a pleasure meeting my man in person. He's back on the podcast. He's been here before. So there's so much to talk about. Let's bring on my man, creator of Chicano Hollywood, none other than Johnny L. Murillo. Johnny, how are you?
Good, brother. Good to be on the podcast once again. You know, when I was listening to you, I'm like, man, this feels like I don't know. You might remember, I don't know who else might, but Wolfman Jack vibes. You know, back when I was a kid, I was a kid, but 60s. You know, there was my mom. She would listen to that type of music show, and Wolfman Jack would come on, and he was just boom, 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 boom. So I remember him from the movie American Graffiti. But I was like, I'm listening, like, oh, that's cool, man. Wolfman Jack vibes. I love it.
Oh man, that's quite the compliment, man. Jeez, Wolfman Jack. Yeah, it's people tell me, I kind of look like him with the gray and stuff, and
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
oh man, hey, thank you so much. Welcome back to the podcast, Johnny, and it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure talking to you, man. And I always take so much from you, man, because you're a very wise man, and everything you say always has meaning, man. So I really appreciate chopping it up with you, man. Whether it's online here, like, or especially in person, man. So thank you.
No, dude, it's my honor, bro. I love your audience. I love your platform. Social Nuestra, right? That's social. What? How do we say it again?
Oh, Social Nostra.
Social Nostra. Yeah. I love those guys. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
man. And then all the other platforms you're on and stuff like that. So I'm excited to be on. The last time I was on, I remember I made, we had the scheduled. I had just got back from Hawaii. We had my mom passed, so we went to she wanted to be spread out and over in Oahu stuff. So that's where she lived before. So we had just flown in, kind of ran in with suitcases still, and we got it. So I was probably a little bit scattered, just a little bit, but I'm glad we got back on now. And you're right, it's been a year. December, we had that mixer. You showed up and we connected really well. You had me on like a month or so later, about 2 months later.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. I freak out thinking, man, that's gonna be a year. And so much has happened in the last 12 months. I'm like, geez, this is crazy, but hey, we're here.
I know, yeah, it's unbelievable, man. It's just like time flies, right? You hear it's cliche, but it's true, man. I can't believe how fast this year went by. I mean,
Yeah, crazy.
it's
We got a
crazy,
lot going
right?
on too, so I'm excited. I saw the growth of your podcast is great. You have a lot of cool guests. So yeah, it's been good. It's been a good year for all of us.
Yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. And obviously we want to talk Chicano Hollywood, man. But I know you're up in Portland right now, and again, Johnny, last time you came on, like you mentioned, man, with your mom and everything in Hawaii, and getting out there, you had just come back from Hawaii, right? And I think that night.
That night just landed. Yeah, that night.
Yeah, and I always say, you could have easily said, hey, you know what, and understandably so, you could have said, dude, let's reschedule. I'm getting back in from a trip, but you were dedicated, you were committed,
Yeah.
and that's just so impressive,
No,
man.
it was important to me. And I remember landing in Long Beach, and we had to go from Long Beach to Burbank. And I'm like, grabbing her stuff, and like, man, got to make that, so it was important to me. So it was you're important to me, this podcast is important to me, so I'm like, no, we're gonna do it. This one around, like, now I'm in Portland. That's what's cool about what the picture you chose to promote this. It's me with my granddaughter Bella. Now Bella, that picture is taken here in Portland. So when you posted that, I'm like, oh my gosh, of all the pictures you could have chosen, you chose that one. What a coincidence, to me, I'm always like, everything's God's plan, right? So what a nice confirmation that you chose the Portland picture with the Portland granddaughter, and here we are in Portland at the same time. So it was really cool. I like that.
Absolutely.
Well.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to look at my camera, because I notice when I look here, like I'm looking at you, I look weird. So I'm gonna try to get the eye line right. That's what we produce. Where's your eye line at? So
yeah, right, man. Yeah, no, it's what's your granddaughter's name, by the way?
Bella.
The one that's on your
Bella. Yeah, Bella. Bella.
Oh, Bella. Okay.
Bella.
Big shout out.
Yeah,
big shout out to the granddaughter, and
she's sleeping now. Believe me, we wrestled her down to put her in bed by this time. So, yeah, but she's fun. We're having a lot of fun with her. It's just me and my wife and her, and she gets all our attention. Every second that we're here, we put her down for naps, wake her up. So, so we're just having a blast. So it's kind of funny because it's like a natural bond I have with my grandkids. I love them to death. They love me. When they see me, they come running towards me. And they always say, man, they like Grandpa best, But this trip, I don't know what's going on, but my wife has just got the anointing this time around, because this is all about my wife. Now, my wife's Italian, so they call her Nonna. That's how you say like Nana. We say Nana in Spanish. So they would call her Nonna. So like this trip's all about Nonna, so like she's loving on her, which is great. It's just good to see. So, but we're having a good time. We're in Portland. We've got some meetings up here too. We have a little Chicano Hollywood base up here in a sense as well. One of our close network friends is Brandon Maxwell. He runs the Daily Chela. And you're familiar with Brandon and the Daily Chela. I always shout him out. He's one of our partners. Him and I've been going back and forth. We're both on this capital raise right now, and so we kind of bounce ideas off each other. Like, I have some inquiries today that I was dealing with, and so I hit him up, say, hey bro, I'm in town right now, let's meet up. So he's a great guy, but he's here Oregon based in the Portland area as well. So we're gonna actually meet up on Thursday. But yeah, so we have a little stronghold up here in Portland as well. So there's a lot of good Chicano community out here.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's I was up in the Pacific Northwest, Johnny. I'm familiar. I was stationed up there in the Navy for a couple of years.
Wow.
And and I got to know Portland a little bit. Nothing. I haven't experienced Portland like I want to. And last time I was up there was in 2001. Played my last college football game there against Portland State University.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got a little Portland connection myself, and
it's a fun community. It's if none of your viewers have ever been to Portland, you need to come up. There's one of the things that the takeaway is, other than it's surrounded by rivers, right? So you have a lot of bridges. It's got a very old school architecture vibe, right?
Mm-hmm.
They built this back in the 1800s. They the history, because of what they have, the term Shanghai came out of Portland. And I don't know if you remember the old pirate ships and so on. The term, it was called Shanghai, and what that meant was you were kidnapped it was human trafficking. So they would Shanghai men and probably some women too, I'm sure, in the bars in Portland back 150 years ago, and they would take them and basically they would knock them out, right? They would drug them or something, put them on a ship, and then those ships were merchant ships going to Shanghai, China, and on there just to go and get goods. So basically they would tell them, like, okay, you're on our ship now. You're going to work. If you want to try to swim back, go ahead and try to swim. If not, you work for us now. And if you want to go back to the U.S., you got to go with us to China, get the goods, and then you come back, and then you can leave. So that term, if you're any history buff, the term Shanghai came out of here. So they have these cool tunnels and different things like that. They would kidnap people from the bars, take them to the tunnels, and take them out to the ocean on the ship. So pretty interesting, I like
Wow.
that kind of stuff, So
Jeez. Yeah, a nice little history lesson by Johnny Murillo, ladies and gentlemen.
there's a
No, I
lot.
got some. What did I say, Johnny, earlier, man? You always got you got just full of you're an walking encyclopedia, damn it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, food too. Portland. You never. Portland has the best food scene.
Talk
You know
about
what?
it.
The thing about Portland too is that, like, okay, we're from LA, right? So we look at LA. We know you're gonna go to East LA. You know what you're gonna get. You're gonna go to South LA. You know what you're gonna get. You're gonna go to Beverly Hills. You know what you're gonna get. Okay, over in Portland, the way the whole town is set up, it's really not necessarily divided that way. It might be just a little bit, but each little neighborhood has these little main streets, just these little kind of main street, kind of similar to what Burbank has on San Fernando near the mall. It's not as big, but similar. But there's like a crap load of them. I mean, they're all over the place, and they all have these great restaurants, from Thai food to Indian food to Mexican food. So the food scene, if you're a foodie, the hood foodie, he needs to come up here. If you're a foodie, any kind of foodie person, you come up here, you'll spend 6 months doing these restaurants, and they're all delicious. So that's the one thing that I love about Portland the most, other than my granddaughter, is that the food scene is really cool.
Wow. I got to check. Yeah, man. Like I said, I got to get up there.
Yeah.
Can you find some good Mexican up there, Johnny?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good Mexican food too. They're big. There's a lot of Mexicanos here. One of the I forgot the name of the restaurant, but this guy's getting a lot of love from this community, and he's built a gourmet Mexican restaurant, some other coffee shops. I forgot. My son knows them really well, but there's really good high level Mexican cuisine up here. It's not just there's a lot of taco shops, a lot of taco trucks too, but there's also some high level as well. So it's pretty diverse. Good stuff.
Oh man, yeah, I got to get up there, man. I got to get up there, But yeah, it's yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself up there, Johnny, with your your family and your granddaughter especially, man. And that's amazing, man. And Chicano Hollywood, man. You just released, launched, I should say, the streaming app.
Yeah.
And was it last week? Or no, was it 2 weeks ago? I think now.
2 weeks ago, yeah. It's been about 2 weeks now, yeah. So what that was like a private launch per se. I had a lot of these guys trust us, and from the beginning, there's guys that are day one on this stuff. Joe Chacon from Wolfpack Pictures, Fliplandia, the animation mastermind. Who else? Others. Gio Perez has some content over there. All these guys from day one have just been trusting us and building with us and growing with us. What's his name? Taco and Workouts. That's another podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Guy from day one. All these guys, right? They of course, like, the build up takes a while. Trying to do things right. Trying to, we couldn't launch too early. We couldn't launch, I wanted to be semi-robust. This whole time I've been looking for capital, right? So I personally was trying, like, okay, we got to do this right. But there was a point, like right around August, I'm like, going, what? We just got to get these guys to put their content on there. Let's do a exclusive private launch. That way they can start promoting that their content's on our streaming app, and we just do it. So it is quote unquote public, per se, but we're not doing any massive marketing yet. We are going to. So like right now, all the content that's on there now, I'm having one of our editors, he's going through each one, creating like now streaming, like little 30-second, 15-second bites, little mini trailers, like now streaming on Chicano Hollywood. So we're gonna, he's working on those now. Once we get all those done, we're gonna start just, putting those up on Facebook and Instagram and wherever else, and just try to driving traffic back to our streaming app. So it was a great event. It's exactly what we wanted. We wanted just those that, that are participating per se, plus anyone that I knew, like, you, others that I know you're going to be on here soon. So like, just come hang out. So it was important to have that intimate, because that was the words that I spoke there. One of the main things that I really know, like, people are telling me, this is historic. We've never seen this before, and no one's ever done this for us. I mean, I literally get messages from studio level people saying, bro, this is this is great. You figured it out. That's the thing, is that we figured it out, that our community, one, was being underserved. And this is the Mexican American and West Coast Chicano culture. And I remember, I always, when it's not just Mexican American, it's, the culture, Salvadoran, Honduras,
Yeah.
whoever. Um, so that was being underserved because there was other Latino voices that were great, beautiful voices that we respect, but it's not our voice. So when we said we're just going to focus on the Chicano voice, and that was who we are, it wasn't like this intentional, like, here's a good model. Let's focus on this niche. It was like, dang, if we don't do it for ourselves, no one's gonna do it for us,
Right.
And then I think I told the story the last time I was on, or when we shot that movie or shot with oat milk. I saw how both in front of the camera and behind the camera, Chicanos, that's who we were. We're just loving on each other, having the best time, high fiving each other, and there was an embrace of the term Chicano Hollywood, and that's why I nicknamed them, right? So all of that came out of there. So having this private launch and having this, focus on our community was important because I always say, if we don't greenlight ourselves, no one's going to greenlight us. And
Yeah.
the words that I wanted to share that night, one of the most important terms or thoughts I had was, this will only be historic as if we do it together. I'm not here to just build some business and just move on. I'm here to really impact lives. I had a man the other day tell me, I met him for the first time. He told me who I was, shook my hand, and he says, man, I'm shaking the hand of a future billionaire.
Wow.
And I looked at him and said, if I'm going to be a billionaire, it's because there's a lot of millionaires all around me. So, it was just a comeback, and I'm like, that's if not if, as this blows up, of course, there's going to be money to be made.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be one of those where only the top, it's going to be where people that are participating, we want to make sure that we are building a economic ecosystem, that there's people that are able to come in and feed off of what we're building, and that's the most important thing to me. I hate that we have amazing creators, writers, directors, producers that are just waiting for their turn, animators just waiting for their turn to get that big break, right? But they're driving Uber, they have their other jobs, they're door dashing, they're those are all respectable jobs. I've done them all. I know LA like the back of my hand because of Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash, right? So
Right.
So they're very respectful people that work. You got to work, put food on your table. And I see our creative community doing all that stuff because they haven't got the big break yet. Now, there's a lot of us too that this is what we do full time, right? And it's a gig economy, so we're going from job to job. And that alone is a walk of faith, right? But then there's so many that they just haven't had that break yet. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I get them that break? And that break, what it's going to look like, and I'm totally would celebrate this. They're going, we're going to partner together. We're going to create a movie, a series, something, digital content for social media, whatever it might be. We're going to blow it up. And then the studio level, other production companies, other streaming apps are going to come knocking on our door saying, hey, we see what you're doing there. We want you to come over and do it with us. And I've had people say, well, we got to get them in contract so they don't leave. I'm like, no, that's not what it's all about. If they know who's building a platform underneath them and they're able to keep jumping higher, there's going to be a loyalty there. Chicanos are loyal to each other. They're loyal to who's your ride or die, who's standing with you, who's putting food on the table. So I'm not worried about that at all. I've had other conversations about, there's other Latino groups that are building streaming apps, and they're announcing that we're going to have a streaming app too coming 2023. And I'm like, I'm not competing with Latinos. That's not our heart. We're not. I celebrate them. We're not competing with our own. Now, are we quote unquote competing with other non-Latino streaming apps? Oh, heck yeah. It's just part of the game. You're an athlete. Competition makes you better. So yeah, I read all the different articles about, what's Netflix doing, what's Amazon Studios doing, what's what's Hulu doing. And I look at them and I read those and I see what they're doing, I see the programming, because we got to learn from each other, right? But anyone else that's Latino, they're trying to launch their own app. I'm like, shoot, you need help? What can I do? I'll shout you out. Let's help promote you, because the more opportunities we have, like what we're doing, the more our creators are going to be able to get work and put food on their table. So we have to build it. And I always tell people, look, I'm not trying to knock anybody down. All I want to do is get us, the Chicano community, where we should be. We were here first. That's the biggest thing. We were here first. And for some reason, we're last. For some reason, our voice is the last or the least heard. So I'm not trying to knock anyone out. I'm just trying to get us where we should be. That's all. Once we're there, that means there's a economic ecosystem that people are working through and with, and they're all making money. And with the growth of Hispanics in the U.S., soon, I think it's 20, 30 years ago, we're going to be the majority. So I'm looking at next year or the year after, like, 30 to 50 years, we have to build this right now for our community to be thriving then. So I won't be around, if it's 50 years from now, heck no, dude, I'll be with Jesus, right? Probably 30 years with Jesus, but I will. If I don't plant the seeds in this orchard now, my great-great-grandchildren are not going to eat off the fruit. So I have to do it now. I have to do this. I'm building this for not just my family, but for all of us and whoever wants to hang out. So we're planting seeds in an orchard. And actually, we're planting seeds in a dirt ground that doesn't exist. And out of those seeds, fruit's going to come. And out of that fruit, trees are going to grow. And out of that fruit, trees are going to grow. And then our posterity is going to be able to enjoy what we're building now. Goes with podcasts, goes with content creators, goes with digital media, goes with small businesses, whatever it might be. But I'm a strong believer that the Latino community has enough power. Actually, I saw some stats on LinkedIn the other day that we have a stronger financial power than France. Think about that. We're stronger financially within the Latino community than France's financial, their gross domestic product. So to say we're stronger than that. So, buying power and so on. We're 2.8 trillion or something like that. So to me, it's like we have it here. We just got to get it organized a little bit. And that's why I encourage and celebrate anyone else who wants to do what we're doing. They can do whatever. I'll help them build. I'll do whatever. I'll help shout out because it's going to help everybody if we're all building together,
Yeah, Johnny, that's what I love about you, man. You just you want to see everyone win, everyone succeed. There's no selfishness. There's no, like you mentioned, you're not competing, especially against another Chicano or Latino app or platform. Like you just said, man, hey, let's I'll help you grow. I'll help, let's join forces or whatever. Let's collaborate. There's no animosity. There's no negativity or but that's what I love about you, man, because you sincerely want to see the community grow. You're doing this for everyone. And and everything you've ever talked about, man, and we're seeing it come to fruition. So I know you're not blowing smoke. You're not. This isn't some pipe dream or some gimmick. Or this is real, genuine. This is genuine stuff, man. This is like we're talking legacy. We're talking epic proportions.
Slow growth, but we're actually. People look back and say, "You've done that in a year." I guess so. To me, it's slow because I want to, I'm gonna freaking blow up now. But where we're at now is, of course, you helped us with one of our master classes. So we did 10, and then I felt that's too small, right? We don't have enough. Let's not launch public. We did a little soft launch just to mess with it. And then I thought, let's do 10 more. So then we did 10 more. You did one of those classes, how to launch a podcast. We're finishing the editing on those now. Actually, they're back in my hands. I just have to do some editing, and I'm freaking get so busy. So they're back in my hands. Cindy Luna, many know her from several ABC shows and so on. She's a great actress, and she's great. She's overseen all this for us. She's great because she's putting in the some legwork on all that. But dude, I'm that guy that says, no, don't worry, I'll take care of it. So I have some things that I got to do. So I'm hoping to get those out, completely pushing our master classes by, what is it, Cyber Monday or something like that?
Oh, Yeah, it's coming up, right?
Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Cindy Luna. She directed. I know she directed my
Yeah.
my edition of the masterclass. But yeah, she was great to work with, man. And
Yeah.
what a by the way, that was a great experience, Johnny. And I want to thank you for having me on that, man, and selecting me, because I obviously there's a lot of podcasters you could have gone to, and I
No,
feel
look, I loved having you there, and what I love about it is that you're giving all your tools, and think about this. What you were doing is you were showing, what underneath the hood, so that other people can see it. Say, oh, if he can do it, I can do it, and that's so important to me. I still get so many like comments or messages saying, I could never think of doing something like that, or how you even doing that, and so on. And I'm like, freaking, I don't know, dude. I went to Bible school, I
yeah, right.
and I got this cough, but yeah,
Take your
I
time,
went to
man.
Bible school. I've learned other stuff. I've had other businesses, so there's a lot of things that I brought in from my other experiences into Hollywood that I was able to translate to get, to especially build my production skills, right? But I always tell people, look at the skills you have. What made, when I found my lane as a producer, it was because, multiple things. I used to manage people all the time. I would do these big outreaches and crusades. I've been all over the world, so I've do these big things, help them organize and all that. So I can move people, right? I can organize people. And then I had several businesses. One of my most successful was a construction company. We had that in Colorado. We built, like the big hotels in Vail and stuff like that. I had to manage. I had like a solid crew of 75 paisas, and I'm sure none of them were legal, but they were the homies, right? So I put all our paisas to work, and so we used to be the Ritz-Carlton. It's another hotel now, and in the Vail area. We built the ET buildings and all that. We did the Macy's in Chandler, Arizona, stuff like that, right? So all of those construction, managing, organizing skills were in me already. So doing other things here and there, basic stuff, doing Amway, Quickstar, and prepaid legal, that's basic organization, working with people, getting people motivated. All those kinds of skills, it's like wax on, wax off with the Karate Kid, right? You have no idea. Hobo thought he was just washing cars. Then he's a big kung fu master, right? So all those kinds of skills, you bring them into your purpose and what you're designed to do, those skills come out. So how did I learn how to produce? People ask me that. I took a couple classes at UCLA, but for the most part, I just learned the language, and then I was able to translate the skills I already had and bring it into production. So yeah, now can I produce? Yeah. I've done several feature films and some series and so on, a lot of digital stuff with the digital. So yeah, is it because I went to film school? No, it's because life. So
yeah,
if your listeners are hearing right now, they're thinking, man, I want to do something different, because we change careers over the course of our lifetime. Don't be afraid if you're passionate about this. Don't be afraid. If you want to start a podcast, don't be afraid. Just learn. Just take our master classes. Go to our website, chicanolowwood.com. You'll see master classes. Sign up. We're gonna be uploading some more. And just learn how to do this stuff. So you lifted up the hood. You open up the curtain so people can see. And I know where you're at right now. I've been to your house. I see this cool studio. And you're doing it there, bro. It's so professional. I was just with JR and the crew, and there where his studio is, right? And you on the outside, you're like, man, where am I at? On the inside, like, dang, this is a cool little studio, right? And then I was with Martin Rizzo and his podcast, and they're in an auto body shop. So you walk into an auto body shop, you go into the back, it's like, dang, this is a studio. So you can launch your podcast from your freaking bathroom, put a mic up in front of your toilet and boom, do it and get an audience. Actually, that might be a fun gimmick, so, but yeah, that's how I always tell people, just learn. That's all about the master classes that we have, is that people need to see that if we're doing it, you and me, they can do it. And I have Reverie on there. This new 10 courses that are coming out. Reverie's doing a course, and she's talking about how she used to run around with the gangs and how she just became now this. She's this awesome independent hip hop artist.
Yeah.
Fabian Alomar, his the first segment, like yours, it has to start off with telling their story. So Fabian's story, he was a gang member in Echo Park. Now he's second season of This Fool on Hulu. You know, think about that. So we're designing these so that that little homie in Houston, that little homegirl in San Jose, 12 years old, 13, 14 years old, they're surrounded by whatever negative negative influences. But if they can get a hold of these master classes, they'll hear their stories and say, oh man, if that guy can do it, I can do it. If she can do it, I can do it. If he could do it, I can do it. And that's how they're designed. So then we go into the actual skills. Then you learn how to do it. Jeff Ray has talked about what happens in the production from development to post and all that. So yeah, then you're going to pick up some skills. But what's most important with all those classes is that you hear the story. What's your story? Because we all have the same story. Very similar. Maybe let me rephrase that. We have a lot of similar backgrounds, like Chicanos.
Yes.
You know, a lot of us deal with single moms, raised by single moms, like I would. A lot of us deal with. We all had family in prison. I remember when This Fool came out. That was hilarious to me. When that first came out, the first season, dude, I got so many texts. Like, bro, they stole my story, bro. You know, I can't believe it. I don't know. They took my story. And I'm like, dude, we all have that story. My little brother was in prison for 25 years. When he got out, or 23 years, when he got out, you know, we got him a smartphone. He got on Facebook and he's like, what the heck is this? You know, he's just adjusting and so on. So we all have that story. So to me, it's like people need to know that if we can do these things, so can you. You know, just freaking start doing it, you know. So that's my spiel on the master classes. I just really feel like people need to realize that if they're not happy with what they're doing right now and they feel like they missed it, they need to jump in and just start doing it. It's a risk. There's no doubt. It's a risk.
Yeah.
You know,
no,
good times and bad times, but I'd rather have that than just being stuck in a grind where you're not happy, you know.
No, exactly, Johnny. And you know, it's funny you mentioned that, man, because I if you would have asked me this probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, if I was going to be interviewing people on a podcast, I would have looked at you crazy, you know. But the like you said, the main thing or the theme, right, of the master classes was, I think it's, you know, if we can do it, you can do it. Take action. Yep. And I like, there's somebody said, take imperfect action, right? As long as you get going. And like you said, you learn as you go. You learn, you pick up those skills. And as you're learning, you're taking the initiative to learn. Watch other podcasters, watch other interviews, watch the Howard Sterns, watch the Dick Cabots, watch the Johnny Carsons, and that's how you pick up skills. You know, and you take that initiative to learn and pick up from others, take things from others and customize it, personalize it. Yourself. Yeah, right. You make it your own, but I think that you that first step, I think, is the most difficult step, right? And then once you realize, it's like you start gaining momentum, you start gaining traction. Hey, I can do this. I can do this. You know, and you start getting that confidence, and it's like anything, right? But I think that's a beautiful thing, man. It really, you know, inspiring others, man. It's such a beautiful thing.
That's what to me, it's like in the long haul. It's like if we, and also other Latino groups that are doing similar stuff. If we don't do this, you know, people complain about our voice or the lack of representation and all that stuff, right? That there was just a big what do you call it, report that came out of UCLA, and it was by Christina Ann, I forgot her last name, but good lady. She follow her back. She dug deep and she did this report on Latino representation, right, in TV and movies and on streaming platforms. Now, again, needless to say, we were very, very, you know, underrepresented again.
Yeah.
But then the Mexican American Film Festival, Dr. Ruiz, Bel Hernandez, those guys, they dug it even deeper. And I love their passion because they want to represent the Mexican American, the Chicano voice, right? The Mexican American voice. So they dug even deeper. And out of that small percentage that was said, okay, this is a representation, they dug deeper. And it was almost minuscule on Chicanos. So to me, it's like, okay, they said this is where our growth is and blah blah blah. But then these guys said, okay, well, let's see where the Mexican Americans are, and it's like, dang, we're almost invisible again. Now, how is that if we're 60 million Latinos, 40 million Mexican Americans? How are we the smallest? Even amongst Latinos, we're even smaller. We should be on the higher end of that because there's basically 40 million of us, 20
Yeah.
million of everybody else, but we're still invisible. So I saw that report too, and of course, you shake your head, but I'm like, it doesn't bother me because I'm like, I get it. They're gonna do when I say the studio system, the streaming platforms that are out there, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. We have to stay focused. We have to create our own A-listers. We have to create our own stories. And I say this is about our stories and our voice with our faces. There are people within our network that I would love for them to be. I'm actually not love for them to be. They're going to be, but I'm going to work hard to build them up to where they are A-listers. They're recognized around the nation, and
Yeah.
they're the ones that are like there because they have the talent. They have the talent, and the only way that they'll be able to. I'm not saying the only way. A way that they'll be able to get there is because we're coming alongside of them and building underneath them as a community.
Right.
I'm not saying they can't do it on their own. They can. They can keep grinding. They can keep pushing. The walls that Chicanos, Latinos have to climb when it comes to breaking into the studio system, those walls are really, really tall. Those gates have a lot of locks on them. Now, I don't think it's like necessarily institutional racism or anything like that. It's all business. Hollywood's all business. So you create a series that's making them money, they're going to come all over it. They're going to come to you. They're going to say it. We have a series that I'm trying to raise the money myself to do it because that's what I would rather do. But the King of Downey, right? We did that. We shot it a year ago. We ran at the Mexican American Film Festival in May. We had a rep, Caroline. She came and talked to us about, she was repping Disney and she actually reps others. Wonderful lady, and we're talking to her right now about getting it developed by other people, right? And I told her, I said, I kind of want to just still do it myself because I can control who's in there and who's out of there and so on. When you surrender an idea like that, they option it, and they pretty much control it all. So that would mean none of the people involved would have any shot at all. And I just don't want to do that. I want to create Chicano writers and put them at the highest levels of writing room, right? I want talent. We had Jerry Garcia, we had Tanya Estrada, we had Sonia Balcazar, Ashley Alvarez, all these people, Marco Para, Concrete, Jay Valentino, all these, Baby West Coast. They just a group at my grandson. As a matter of fact, we use my grandson in there, right? Little baby, he's the little baby. We had this group of very talented people within our community, and I'm not saying they can't do it on their own. Some of those guys have huge followings.
Yeah.
But to create a series that would help catapult them up. So that is a series that, man, I'm trying to raise the money myself. I'd rather shoot it myself because once we have it, we figured out the voice, the story, our faces, and we put on our streaming platform. It becomes successful. It brings people to our streaming platform. And then if Hulu, Disney, anyone else wants to buy it, we sell it up, well, then they got to take everybody, at least 2 or 3 of our writers, and at least the main leads of our cast because they're already established, So it's a strategy that we're using to help build the whole community. We could option it and I would make money off it personally because it's my idea, my concept. But I don't want to do that. To me, it's like that's not our purpose. Our purpose isn't for Johnny Murillo to create ideas and have other people create ideas, and then I'm the one that owns it. Because it would be a big lie for me to be like, yeah, I wrote that script. I did write the script, but it's like all I did was put a piece of meat in front of some extremely talented people, and they added the spices to it. They turned it to carne asada. Jerry Garcia, his comedy. I didn't write that comedy. It was him. He has one line where he's talking about Father Reyes, and he goes, "Father Reyes, I used to party with that fool. He needs to confess." And that was improv, and it was hilarious,
That's good.
So I can't say, oh, I wrote that. I didn't. I did. Concrete brings. I thought Concrete to me. I tell people he's like the Bill Murray of Chicanos. He shows up. He probably glances at the script, but he delivers. He always delivers. Baby West Coast. He's another one. She's extremely talented. So the that whole pilot, the concept that we put together, for me to be the only one that benefits off of that, it would be a lie. All of us did that together, and that's what we want to do. That's just one. There's so many others ideas that we have that we have the talent to do them extremely well, from production to talent. And if the goal is to control it so that we can build our people up, it's not our intent to create stuff and then sell it and then we only make money. That's not what. If I wanted to make money, I'd go back to construction. I made a lot of money there. That's not our. I've done that. I'm 55 years old. Not that I don't want to make money. You got to put food on the table. But been there where we had those kinds of things, and those are nothing. If you're eating at a big table full of a lot of food with no people, that's disgusting. That's boring. That's sad. But if you're at a picnic table with a bucket of chicken, a plate of enchiladas, a bunch of nachos and sodas, and you got all the familia there at a picnic, like the old school 90s barbecues, that's fun. That's what we want Chicano Hollywood to be, So that's kind of where we're at with it. We want to. It's got to be a community push, So we just got to keep growing that way, So a lot of work to do, though. A lot of work.
Yeah. No, Johnny, I love it, man. I'm seeing you. It's exciting to hear all about this, and this the list goes on with all the talent, all the creators, man, and in every facet, music, television, film, behind the camera, in front of the camera, it's a beautiful thing, man. We have all the people to do it, man, and at a high level.
Yeah,
high level. It's a no-brainer, So,
yeah.
Going back to the app, though, Johnny, I wanted to, I was checking out the app, and you have different categories, documentary, thriller, drama, action, comedy, horror, romance, family. Like you mentioned, you got Fliplandia in there. You got Kilroy, original Latin Kings of comedy. So much content, Chicano 2.0, and Shadow Boxer. What was the take us through the I don't know the initial idea for the streaming app? Was it a collaboration for yourself? Was it just yourself, and then you kind of presented it to others?
I wish there was others in the beginning to pull me back, because I usually don't. But the idea came, I think it was back right around August of, not this past one, August of 2021. 2021? Yeah, or 2020, after we had already launched. I saw the numbers organically grow. Like, we launched our social media March 11th of 2020, August of 2020. We're in the middle of COVID, right? So I still saw the numbers, because all I was doing was shouting people out. I'm not Mr. Social Media creative guy. All I know, I get this app that says repost, and I pull their post down, then I just say shout out, and then I just put their stuff up, right? I mean, that's, people always ask, who does your IG? I'm like, dude, it's me. Just okay, I'll get someone professional to do it soon. But right now it's just me. So and then I connected to Facebook.
You're pretty good, man.
Oh my gosh, so it's so hilarious how I do this stuff. My daughter's like, did you do that? Yeah, I did. So when I saw the numbers there, and I really think, felt to my heart, especially, like, man, we got something here. There's something that we need to do here, almost like an assignment, right? And the idea of we just need to do our own streaming app came when I think there was it was after, it wasn't Cristela, but there was another show. All these cancellations started coming in, right? Another show that we watched was canceled and so on. And then, of course, what that does, like, when you're a producer like me, and you hear that, Cristela got canceled. That was a show on, I think it was ABC. Right away, I'm thinking, okay, that means there's a slot open, because they all have, like, networks have one slot for Latino content, right? Streamers have 2 or 3. So there was a slot open, but then I saw them fill that slot with Dr. Ken. Now that was a couple years ago, but that was in my mind when all this was going on.
Yeah.
Another show got canceled, and like, okay, so as a producer, you think, okay, there's an opportunity there. What do we have to do to pitch? And then the streaming apps, right? They're getting all the big words out there were, inclusion, and then there was some Latino shows that were getting canceled, but then they would do this, type of political movement to let's get signatures and we're going to petition. They got to keep it on. And I would see that as like, okay, I get it. But if no one's watching it, no one's watching it. The only canceled shows that no one's watching. So I get the representation stuff, but if Netflix doesn't want your show on no more, it's because they're not making any more money. No, they see the data. It's all data now, right? But to do a pressure them politically or publicly because they're doing this, sign this petition to keep the show on. And I celebrate whatever efforts they're doing, but I knew what the deal was. Eventually, they're going to shut it down if no one's watching it, right? So I kept seeing, though, all of our like producers like me, that we knew that our shows were never going to get greenlit because our voice is different. It's a Chicano voice. It leans more traditional. It leans more, and I say this word, but it's not in the negative way, but it leans a little bit more masculine, but not toxic masculinity. That's another word that people use, but it's not toxic. I'm not toxic, masculine at all. I consider myself masculine. But you ask my wife, my daughters, and any other women around, I just try to serve as many people as possible, like a father, right? Very fatherly in how I approach people. And to me, that's just healthy masculinity. So I wanted our representation to be who we feel we should be. I was raised in a toxic masculine environment. My real dad was a alcoholic and physically abused my mom. My mom probably got smart and left him when I was a baby, right? So I never really knew him, but he was one of these, these winos that are on the street that are drunk on the street. We used to call them hobos, winos. They don't have politically correct words for them, but no, they're freaking winos. That's all they are. So, my dad was a wino, and he chose booze over us. So that's his choice. My stepdad comes in. Stepdad was, I love my stepdad. He was there, but then of course he was caught up, La Vida. He was caught up in La Vida. He was involved in up north, where I'm from the north. So there's the initial organizations down here. Then there's the initial guys up there. So my stepdad, my tios were all part of that. And so I saw that. I saw drive-bys at our house. His garage was all lowriders. That's what he would rebuild and build. And the whole garage was just every inch was covered with Playboy magazines. That was porn back then. Now I get some called video now. So I saw a very toxic masculine environment in the home I was raised in. Right, that's just how it was. That's not the representation that I want my kids. My kids are not raised in that kind of stuff. My grandkids are not going to be raised in that kind of stuff. So I was big on representing the right voice, but I wanted to be that voice. So that voice isn't always greenlit though. Because I'm still, I'm still lowrider culture. I still want to get another 53 Chevy pickup. That was my first car, 53 Chevy. It was drop down, metallic blue, chrome rims. My mom had a 62 T-Bird. My brother had a 53 panel van. We were all lowriders. I don't say that I was a cholo per se. I was raised around cholos. I had the Pendletons. But I always say I was the worst cholo. I was not very good at it. It wasn't my thing. I'm still down with oldies, freestyle music, everything else, but I just was not a good cholo. I mean, it just wasn't, I tell people this is a true story. 8th grade, I was, all the homies were in, junior high is probably harder than high school. So we're in 8th grade, all the homies were surrounded. They were, had the Indian ink and the thread and all that. They're tattooing each other. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm scared of needles, right? I was like, oh my gosh, and I just couldn't do it. And so while they're doing all that, I'm sneaking off to drama class. Right? I'm going to theater class. People have no idea that in the 8th grade, I was in the school play. And nobody knew. My mom didn't know. No one knew, because if I told anybody, I would have got my butt kicked. Right? So I sneaked off for practice, and I was in the matinees and all that stuff. But that was I embraced all of that, and the cult, the representation, the stories that we want to tell are kind of those. We want to show the healthy side of Chicano living. So when we write our comedies, our movies, we're still going to have gang members in there. We're still going to have cholos in there. We're still going to have, but we're going to have judges and senators and whatever they are. We're going to show the whole enchilada.
Yeah.
We still have family that are in prison. So if we want to tell those stories, we're going to tell them, right? But
the real story.
My Nino was a battalion chief of San Jose. He was the third highest in command of the whole fire department. My cousin was a retired detective of San Jose. My sister still works for 911 in San Jose. So those are middle class to upper level careers that they have that show a whole different story of Chicano living. And those are the stuff that we want to make, By the King of Downey, that's about real estate agents. It's a whole real estate story. It's not about, it's based on a family. One of the wife's a financial planner. The husband's wants to be a real estate broker. He's a real estate agent. So that's his goals, right? So those are the stories you want to put, and I tell people we're still going to do a Cholo movies. Who doesn't like a good Cholo movie, right? We're still gonna do it, right?
Of course, man.
But the difference is we're going to do them. Our stories and our voice with our faces. That's the difference. So it's not going to be like some of these that other people have done that they did it, And I don't always like to put a whole lot of heat on all those people because I tell people, say, look, whoever wrote that story was probably some white writer, and we know it's a white writer because we see the name, and he was probably raised by Latina maid or nanny. And so when he's writing, they said, we need a nanny. Okay, so he thinks of his nanny. Okay, and her name is Maria, right? Or maybe when he was, walking outside and he saw the gardeners and they're probably Mexicano. So he's writing the story about whatever, sitcom, and he puts, we need gardeners. So he calls them Jesus and Martin or something like that, right? Or maybe when he was in high school, he got his butt kicked by some homies. So when he writes about gang members, he's not going to make them he's going to make them cholos, So it's just the perspective of the writers, and that's how they see things. That's how they were raised. I write. So whenever any of my writing, you're going to see some of my life in there because when I'm thinking of characters, it's like, I'm going to pull in from my experiences. So that's how it works. So now we're going to write our stories in our voice with our faces so that we can get the truth out. So if we do it, hey, it's on us. If I do my little brother's story who's in prison, that's on me. That's my story. I want to do it. And I don't want to be accountable to some group that's out there saying, change the narrative. That's my narrative.
Yeah.
Why should I change it,
Well, I was going to say that authenticity piece is key right there, right?
Yeah.
The stories by us, for us, by us.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I want to give a quick shout out, Johnny, to my man Felipe from Fliplandia is in the house. He made a quick comment. I grew up a hood boy. Now I'm a state inspector / cartoonist comedian, man.
Yeah, he's my boy. Yeah, I love Felipe. Yeah, Fliplandia, to me, people got to realize Fliplandia, when you see that animation, he puts those up, we shut them up, and he's getting them out there. When you see that, you got to understand, he's the writer, he's the voices, he's the animator, he's everything. It's a whole enchilada right there. So people don't realize the skill, and he's an inspector. He has a full-time job.
Yeah.
So he goes and does his job, comes home, and he animates so the rest of us can enjoy his cartoons. And they're funny. He's a great writer. His comedy is hilarious.
Oh,
comes up with these, Masa and all these characters like that. It's like, oh my God, this guy's hilarious. So,
yeah,
he's one guy that, man, in our capital race, if I can get him working so much and he's full time, that would be awesome. But he's a Chicano Adult Swim type of animator with what he has now. But he has other concepts that are family oriented and all that, just so much. So my big shout is probably, if he's not the best, he's one of the best Chicano animators out there right now. But he needs to be full time doing this,
hands down.
We got to support him. We got to follow up. We got to do all this stuff. But he needs to be.
Yeah, his content is that good, man. It should be mainstream, like you said, or
it should be. It should be on Cartoon Network. It should be
seriously.
On Adult Swim. It should be. But again, it's people always complain about nepotism in Hollywood, and I get it. There is, right? But that's natural. Look at the Barrymores, right? Drew Barrymore.
Uh-huh.
Her father's been in Hollywood. His father was in Hollywood. His father was in vaudeville, right?
Yeah.
So their kids are raised around their parents doing this stuff, going to set, learning scripts, writing, creating. So of course it's almost natural. You see that in any other career, construction, plumbing, chefs. My father-in-law was a great chef. My brother-in-law followed him. He's a great chef. My wife's a great chef. It's just part of it, right? So there is nepotism in Hollywood because you're hooking up each other. You see it with the unions. You see it
Yeah.
with the studio level. They're just hooking up. That's it. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to do the same thing. That's why I don't trip on that stuff because we're going to do the same thing. Flip line, yeah, we got to get him up there. He's full time. And then other people are going to see that, and we're going to get them up there. All these others. We just, nepotism is a thing. It's a natural thing to hook up those people that are around you and create opportunities for your family, your friends, and so on. That's what Chicano Hollywood's all about. It's like straight up community nepotism because we want to get our whole community up and going. So there's other like Joe Chacon's another one. That guy's an amazing actor, amazing stuntman, amazing creator. He's got like several short films on the streaming app. He's been with me from day one. I would love to get Joe on working with us full time. He's got Wolfpack Pictures. He's got another job too, and but he's amazing. We did this sizzle of a new show that we're gonna do called Lobo. And basically like a Chicano, not Terminator, Chicano, what's that Marvel? The guy that beats everybody up. The guy that beats
Iron Man?
No. It's the Punisher. Chicano Punisher. Sorry, that was a big delay, but Punisher is one of my favorite TV shows.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, Chicano Punisher. So we did that. It was with Ashley Alvarez, him, Troublesome Music. And the stunts that they did was amazing. Gio Perez, amazing stunt coordinator. He got there within 30 minutes with the stunt guys. They put this whole stunt thing together. It was just freaking amazing. But we put a little sizzle together because we want to get that show greenlit. So we're gonna greenlit ourselves. That's what I'm trying to do now. But Joe Chico's another one. He needs to be in this thing full time. There's others. Gio's an amazing director, writer, too, stunt man. Several others that are on there. If you go to our streaming app now, you see all this great content on there. We want to elevate our creators, and that's why to me I look at who's with me from day one because that's important to me. They trusted me when we had nobody, and still I'm not saying we're mega right now. We're growing, but they trusted me, and that loyalty to me is important, and I want to really want to make sure I honor that back because that's what this is all about.
Yeah, Johnny, and I'm seeing the branch, with the branch out with Chicano Hollywood Musica now, and which is being spearheaded by Beth, your daughter Beth, Betania. Shout out to and talk a little bit about that, man. What's going on with that?
That came, I'm excited about that because it started because we were getting a lot of DMs from Chicano artists, music artists. They say, hey, I just got this new drop, can you shout it out? And I'll just make an Instagram post and then I'll repost it, or I got this new video, can you shout it out? Now videos are, especially nowadays, you can make a video in a day, right? You can just crank them out like that. So I'm getting a lot of those, and I'm realizing these guys are working hard on their music and they're putting their heart into it. Again, they're working at warehouses, they're working at driving Uber, they're doing all this stuff, but they're on at night and on the weekends, they're writing music, they're just putting it all together. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And then all they do is they create this cool video and they stick it on YouTube. And then they're just hoping people can go to the YouTube link.
The black hole.
The black hole, bro. And I'm like, that's not good because it's hard for them. So I thought, what can we do? So let's launch, Chicano Hollywood Musica. And what that is basically it's going to be a platform that we're building underneath our artists. So we started its own Instagram. So when people follow that, they're especially into the music scene. And then we're going to create music themed shows. For example, Chicano 2.0. That's with Jessica Flores. She's another girl. From day one, we met. What do we do? Oh, we were doing this for my production stuff. We were doing a week of content for this brand called Spree. So I met her there. And we started talking, and first time I met her and loved her, and I said, "Hey, I have this idea about this show. Are you down to do it?" So we met it again, and basically, we came up with the name Chicano 2.0. We produced it at Hello Stranger. Shout out to Angela at Hello Stranger. And all we did, we brought in 9 different artists. And, there was Moscar One, there was Baby West Coast, Reverie. There's many others, guys from San Jose that came down,
Yeah.
TV, and who else was Lucas? I think they all came down. No, Legacy came down. So all these guys, we had like 9 artists that we interviewed, right? Twixie, and she just interviewed them, and she's a great. If you follow Jessica Flores, Jessica, she's a great hostess, right? She does a lot of hosting all over the nation. So she interviews them really cool. So Chicano 2.0 has all that, and it's all about that. Is supposed to be like an interview type of show with their music videos. And then we're launching. We're going to drop that. I'm hoping by the end of next week or by Black Friday also. We're going to drop what's called CHM. Now, you'll remember this. And, of course, anyone older than me was going to remember this. But when MTV started, MTV was just music videos and video jockeys.
Yeah.
H1, music videos and video jockeys. BET, music videos and video jockeys, right? Daisy Fuentes, right? She was a first Latina video jockey. So
yeah,
this generation, Gen X, they have no idea what a video jockey is, because all they know MTV now is just, I think it's ridiculousness or whatever it might be, right? It's
right. I couldn't even tell you what's on MTV.
Yeah, they don't know. So when I brought that up to my daughter, she didn't know what a video jockey was. I had to sit her down and show her 2 hours, the first 2 hours of MTV. If you go to YouTube, you put in the first 2 hours of MTV, you'll see it. So
yeah,
it shows when they started, and then it shows what they did. So they had a couple of music videos and then a video jockey, a couple of music videos and a video jockey. So we're doing the same thing. So right now, my daughter is gathering music videos, and basic simple licensing agreement. Just let us show it, and then what we want to. I said I'm gonna make it easy. I don't want to be hunting these down, but if someone creates a new video, just give us permission to go to YouTube, pull it down, we'll stick it in our lineup, because we're going to be doing these in 2-hour segments. So we recorded our video jockeys already. We had JR, we had Ruby, we had who else? There's a couple others. Lucas came from San Jose. A couple of us that we had that were video jockeys, and all they were doing was like, okay, this next video coming up, or what we have this artist here, that kind of stuff. That's it. What we want to do is build it where we could say, okay, who's going on tour this summer? Follow them, blah blah blah. They'll be going on tour, or they'll be at this concert over here. So we want to do music news and all that kind of stuff. All within the Chicano voice, right? All and music, it'll be Latino. So reggaeton, East Coast style, whatever it might be. So it's not gonna be just Chicano, but it's gonna be for everybody, right? So that's what Chicano Hollywood Musica is. It's building that platform. Now we have some ideas we want to grow into. Right now it's that. So it's gonna be the 2-hour music video segments, and then it'll be Chicano 2.0, and then a few other shows. My daughter has this idea of doing where we do like a contest for up and coming artists. She has an incredible skill of finding artists that have not been discovered yet, and she'll find someone, follow them, and be like, "Watch, they're gonna blow up," and then they blow up. It's like, how the heck did you figure that out? So I did that once with Duran Jones and the Indications years ago. I found them. I thought, man, this group's gonna blow up. They had less than 1,000 followers on Instagram. Now they're freaking huge, right? So
yeah. Wow.
I remember when they first came out. I was like, okay, see, I did that once. But anyway, she has a great skill at recognizing talent, and so she wants to do a show where we're actually gonna get a new artist that has that skill and help them do a music video, get the right creators to come in there, stuff like that. So that's what it's all about. So again, building. We gotta build. We gotta build people underneath, and it's not about stepping on each other to get to the next level. It's about building underneath. So Chicano Hollywood is the movie, TVs, documentaries, and podcasts. The Musica is going to be for music artists and so on. And then we have some business stuff we're going to do for I get that too. A lot of businesses, small businesses, Latino Chicano ones. They send me a DM like, hey, we just started this product line. Can you help us shout this out, shout that out? Wow. And I knew when I kept getting those too, I felt bad because I wanted to, but I kind of have that IG mainly on, in a Hollywood entertainment type of stuff. So I knew, okay, there's a need. Let's figure out how to help these people. So we are going to go into the small business side where We're doing some very, very similar with influencers selling products, kind of like a remember QVC. So this is
Yes.
like a Latino QVC. We're just gonna get people selling products and just help these small businesses. So I actually had some meetings earlier today. I'm here in Portland, but I'm having these online with people from Miami, and then a couple others that we're gonna build some stuff out. So we really just I just strongly believe in the ecosystem. We don't need anybody on the outside. There's enough within our own ecosystem to build us all where we're at the next level. And that's the vision.
Wow, Johnny, it's exciting, man. It's to see all of this really start to take off and all these ideas but gosh, yeah, I can't even. It's really fun to see it. It's fun to see it, man, and as it comes to fruition, man. And I want Johnny, I want to ask you before we start wrapping things up. Where can one connect with you? And if they want to get on the streaming app, what are some of the requirements? Or what are some of the things they need to be a part of and to get involved with the streaming app?
Yeah, so they can email me at info@chicanohollywood.com. You can follow me on Instagram. The problem is I always miss, so if we're not following back immediately, it goes to this other deal and I never get those. So the best way is info@chicanohollywood.com. If you do have content, I would love your content. Believe me. Anybody got a good Christmas movie out there? That'd be cool. We need a good Christmas movie, right? If you do have content, whether it be it's movies, TV, podcasts, documentaries, audiobooks, we're putting up our first audiobook, and that is by Jesse Banerjee. Now, people don't know this, but I don't think you might have ever been there, but maybe your wife has been to a Chippendales show. I'm not assuming your wife, but Chippendales is it's a big brand, right? So I know your wife. She probably met your wife. She didn't go to that show. But anyway, so Chippendales was started in Santa Monica by a guy from East India named Steve Banerjee.
Oh,
Steve, he came in the 60s, 70s, right? And came to New York, then he came here to the U.S., and then while he was here in Santa Monica, he met a Mexican girl from Sonora. I believe they're from Sonora. And they had a baby named Jesse, right? So whatever happened there, mom goes back to Mexico and Jesse's raised in Mexico and with his dad back and forth. So Jesse's a Chicano guy, right? He's a homie. He was big in the party scene here, raised in LA. He was back in the 90s, house parties and all that, and the raves and all that. So he is the son of Chippendales. And there's a narrative out there right now that says that his dad killed somebody and then committed suicide in jail. And just like, that's not the truth. I knew my dad. He was 23 years old when this all happened. He's like, I know my dad didn't do that. So he's been on a true crime journey, trying to, prove and clear his dad's name, and then also tap into that inheritance that should have been his, right? So he's a good friend of mine. He's a Chicano. We connected through our Instagram, and we've been hanging out. So he wrote a book called Bowtie Legacy, and so we uploaded that. That'll be up on our streaming app. So it's an audio book. So you can go to our app, hit that, and just while you're driving, listen to the book. And it's a really good book. We're going to
Jesse Banerjee, Johnny.
Yeah, Jesse Banerjee.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and then we're going to do a true crime podcast. So Francisco Royal is going to help me direct that, and we're going to do that and just a few episodes to start it off. We're going to shoot that in a couple of weeks. So yeah, so we can do audiobooks, do that. So the streaming app, if you have content, what's the bar? Bro, I'm not Netflix. One of these days we will be, right? Where you gotta have people always say like Netflix approved cameras. Like if you really read about that, there's no such thing. But anyways, they're if you have good content, Netflix is gonna take it. But if they're shooting stuff, they want those cameras. That's how it works. So, anyways, we're not there. There's no Chicano Hollywood approved cameras. If you got a freaking phone, then that probably works.
There you go.
So, excuse me. The bar is a little low right now. I'll take your baby pictures. I'll take your wedding shower. No, I'm just kidding. If it's produced well, we want to make sure stuff. I had someone submit a documentary to me. I looked at it, and I love these guys too. For their sake, I said, not yet, but let's get on a call and let me give you some tips on how to make this a little bit better. And so we got on a call, and I said, do this, 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 and this, and then let's stick it up there, because I want them as filmmakers to go up a notch. So if I could have put up like that, they would not have gone up a notch. But do this, 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 this. This will be your first one up. That's cool. I'm down with it. Don't stick it on YouTube, but stick it on ours. And then you can say, look, we have our documentary on a streaming app. Better than saying we have our documentary on YouTube. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. So that was simple. I also had a young man. He sent me his short film, and it's about chasing or finding a lost dog. This kid's cool. He hit me up and he says, hey, can you look at my short film? Will it go up? I looked at it. It's like 17 minutes. It's a fun little short film. Would Netflix take it? No. Would Amazon? No. None of those suckers take it. No one. YouTube only, right? But I hit him back. Said, yeah, bro, let's do this. Because I saw what it took for him to shoot that. He had 2 actors in there, several locations, and the editing. So he put some time and effort. So this little homie hits me up like, can you do it? Of course I'm going to do it. So we're going to create a genre that's new directors to watch, or something like that. I'm still kind of like shorter than that. But anyways, new directors, upcoming directors, something like that. Because for him to put the time, effort, creativity, and then convince those actors to do it, because they didn't get paid, to convince those actors to do it, and the locations and all that stuff, it took time. So I want to honor that. So we are, I'm open to stuff, and if I send it back to you, it's only because I want you to make it better so you grow. That's all. But for the most part, send me what you got. Let's get it up there. People say, well, you keep the bar high. I said I could, but there's not enough of us out there right now. But let's grow. We did a whole series. I interviewed like Diana Mole. I interviewed Joe Chacon. I interviewed several others. JR was one. And it was called Grow With Us. So when you go to the app, you'll see Grow With Us. Those are different interviews where I did with those producers. And I said, look, let's talk about where we're at. And they were created so that anyone that gets on the streaming app, they could see those. And I'm basically saying, look, I know we're starting off small. I know what you see on there. I think at the time we just had Joe Chacon stuff and Fliplandia. I said, what you see on there is, it's great stuff, but we're going to put more up there. But just grow with us. Tell your friends and family, download the app, because the more people that we have that have downloaded the app, the better our data is to get capital. That's what I'm doing right now. I just signed papers today with 2 VC reps. They actually rep several VCs. They're lawyers up in the Silicon Valley. They love what we're doing. They love what we're doing. They're like, one of them said, bro, I helped Samsung get their money. Let's get you plugged in with Samsung. We'll get on the Samsung TVs, right? So they just, and I've had, this is probably, before we signed today, it's probably my 4th meeting with them. I met them in San Diego in person, 4th of my meetings, right? So we're going to have another one this coming Tuesday to start prepping. But we finally agreed on some, on a contract for them to represent us. And they're excited. There's 2 of them. One's African-American guy, knows the Chicano voice hardcore, right? So that was important to me. The other guy, he's not, I think he's Middle Eastern, but when I asked him, are you familiar with the Chicano voice? He goes, bro, my girl, she's Chicana. I'm like, oh, shoot, then So if she's Chicana, you know what I'm talking about. He goes, oh, heck yeah. So that's important to me, that whoever I'm working with, they have to understand our voice. If they don't, they put us in this big old group called Latino or Latinx or whatever. And it's like, no, that's not us, dude. You got to know what you're getting into. This is us. And it has to be clear. So I'm really, really clear about that, But anyways, we signed with those guys today. And I have other people that I'm working with for capital raises, and, had some other stuff I'm working on today that we sent out. So the data that they ask, how many people have downloaded the app, how many views do you have, all that kind of stuff. And that's why I have to get the views up. They have to go up, because that's going to make it better for everybody. If I have those views up and they're willing to put in from the beginning, whether it's a seed or equity or whatever it might be, that's a film fund. That's what I'm going to call the homies that have been with me from day one, saying, okay, we got a little bit of money here. Right, we're not going to blow it on one movie. We're going to divide this up, and we're going to all get to work. We're all going to put food on the table, and let's create content, because we get that content there. We're going to do marketing. We're going to get some live events going out there, and I really want to saturate, especially starting with the LA area, Southern Cal area. There's 25 million people in the city of LA. Half of them are Chicano or Latino, more of a primarily Mexican American.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go big, and then of course I want to hit Albuquerque, the south, the Bay Area up in the north, Houston, Phoenix, all these. So we're gonna hit all of Aslan. If you know what Aslan is, we're gonna hit all of Aslan, right?
Yeah.
But to start, I know that just out of LA, I'm just believing for 1 million people to get behind us on that. So the team is solid. We're putting it together. We're getting the funny, but it starts with your audience and our audience to download the streaming app, watch the content that's on there. There's some short films. I got Echo's World. He gave me Zulu 6. It's like 3 or 4 minute, tiny little short, but it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's amazing, And when I saw, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna put this up. It's only like 3 or 4 minutes. We have some stuff that's a show that we did for Snapchat. We just pulled it out, we stuck it on there. It's called Prison Hacks, and they're like 4 or 5 different 3-minute starts. So this is like digital media level stuff, but it's great stuff. It was for Snapchat that we produced it for, and we have it on ours now. So there's funny stuff on there. There's some cool shorts, feature films. I thank God for Peter Bollinger. Him and his partners, they trusted me, and they said, "We love what you're doing, and here's these movies." So Peter gave me Peter, Chris, Mark. They gave me Kilroy and Shadowboxer and OD. So that we have feature films with Guillermo Ivan. He's another one. He's a homie of mine. Guillermo, I love that guy. He gave us a couple movies, a series he's done. He's like the Brad Pitt of Mexico. When we shot a movie with him, and we were in the F in Mexico City. Man, he was getting swarmed all the time. I mean, I'm like, dude, these people. I just met him on that project, and we're close friends now. And I'm like, bro, these people really know you. He goes, yeah, super shy, super humble guy.
What Guillermo? What's his last name, Johnny?
Guillermo Ivan, Ivan. You
Gotcha.
can follow him. Yeah, he's following us now. He's doing a big movie right now. Work size. That movie's for Premiere Entertainment, a few others. So he's the movie we did with him was called Lady Guadalupe. Big project we did in New Mexico for like 3 months. We were in New Mexico shooting this. So, but all these guys have been around me, and when we are able to lock in some solid funding, I'm going to say, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. Let's get to work. Put food on your tables, create content, TV series, so on. They're not going to be studio level budgets. No. They're going to be tight budgets, but we're going to create, and then we're going to believe to go. I want to see our people become showrunners, directors for series. There's a lot of shorts out there, but we've got to actually get a series together that they can direct. So I'm going to really use, especially the series. If I fund a series, I'm going to say, okay, I want 10 episodes, comedy, 22 minutes, and let's divide it up between 4 or 5 different directors. One showrunner. We'll pick King of Downey. When I get the funding for that, I'll probably make Moses Medina. He was our director. I'll make him the showrunner, and he's going to know that we're going to have these people coming in direct, but he's going to make sure the content stays the same. And that's what we're showing. We don't have any Chicano showrunners right now that I know, other than my boy Queen of the South, Ben Lobato. So Ben Lobato, that dude got so much love for us, but he's a showrunner for Queen of the South, and there's probably a couple others, but he's got major love for us. And him and I are working together on some other stuff, and his passion to train Chicano showrunners is huge. So anyone that we bring in our circle, Ben is just willing to come and mentor and teach. So there's a couple others too, but that's the goal, because if they don't get those credits, they're never going to go anywhere. They're always going to be like some little indie guy. Yeah. But if we can give them those credits, and they have them on IMDb, and they have them on a streaming app that's successful, viewership and so on like that, well, then all of a sudden their equity, their personal value just skyrockets. And then they're going to come. WB is going to come knock in. ABC is going to come knock in. We saw what you did there. You need to come do it for us. And that's a win for me. That's what I want to see,
Oh, Johnny, it's a beautiful thing, man. I love the vision. There's so much going on, man. I don't know how you do it, but yeah, man, it's awesome, man. And who I noticed who's following you. You remember the movie or following Chicano Hollywood? The movie Bronx Tale.
Oh yeah, I love that dude. I love that guy.
Lilo, right?
Lilo, yeah. We've messaged a little bit. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool.
man. Yeah, that was an honor, honestly. I know when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this guy, and
Yeah,
yeah, the Bronx Tale, he played the young kid, and
Calogero.
yeah, great actor. He and his whole IG's about recovery and so on. So he had some trouble
Yeah,
times. He's on the come up again, and so to me, any producers out there, let's get him to give him some work. You know, like he's a homie. Like I'd be like, shoot, I don't, I'll make him a cholo. But he's not. I mean, to me, it's like if he's a great actor, let's freaking do it. I mean,
yeah,
I don't care. I will always gonna uphold our people, right? But you get him like all of our people can be down with that dude,
oh
So
yeah,
who's not? It'd be fun. But yeah, he's a great guy. Like we've only communicated a little bit on DMs, but it was an honor, So
that's
yeah,
cool.
so yeah, if you're following us, yeah, follow him back. I want to see that guy blow up again. I love it when people, we all have those dark moments in our life, dark seasons,
Mm.
but when they come out of it and they're shining, man, I celebrate that. So yeah, thanks for catching that, man, because I wanted to give him a shout out too. I didn't want to like blow it up like look who's following us. I didn't want to do that. So you brought it up, so yes, I celebrate it.
Yeah, because I saw that he liked the post that I did that you reposted on Chicano Hollywood on the feed, which was thank you by the way, and
Yeah,
I saw that he liked it. I was like, oh man, I love this guy. I mean, I grew up. I watched that movie in a very
yeah,
pivotal season of my life back in 1994 when I was 18 years old. I think he and I are the same age, matter of fact. But I thought that was cool, man. I thought that was
yeah.
cool.
No,
But anyways,
I love that movie. My niece, she freaking had a crush on him all her life, right? So I screenshot that. She's the only one that I told other than my wife and kids, right? I screenshot that. I said, "Hey, check this out." She goes, "Oh my gosh, she's following." I said, "Yeah, yeah." So it was cool. It was cool. So I'm honored. I'm honored by that. And we have a lot of other blue checks that are
yeah,
following. And we DM. I don't like to say, look who's following us because I like to keep them their privacy, right, and be
no
respectful,
doubt,
and be professional. Um, but
no
yeah,
doubt.
no, there's sometimes I get like, oh dang, that's cool. I get
Yeah,
like, oh, that's honor. So it's great. It's great. I'm
I got to
honored
get that
by
guy on there.
all, and even the ones that don't have the blue checks. If one person follows, and people ask, well, what qualifies someone to get followed back? They just have to be in the industry. If they have on their love cats, I probably won't follow back. But if they have on their actor, artist, podcast, whatever, something like that, I'm more than likely they're Chicano, Latino. I'm going to follow them back. I don't catch them all. You know how IG is. I miss them, and once it's hard, but
Yeah,
because I'll miss them. I get busy too, man. I'll get on like I don't catch everybody, but the ones I do catch, I always look who's following, who are they. Are they in the business? I follow them back. And my daughter on Musica, I told her the same thing. I said, this is a music centric Instagram account. So follow the artist back. So if you're an artist, we're going to follow you back on that one because we want to collaborate, we want to communicate, and we don't want to miss. So again, if someone is in the business and they're following us, we're not following back, just somehow send me a DM or send me an email and I will. It's probably because I just missed you. And, we're almost at 10,000. I'm excited about that.
yeah,
Hit 10,000 by the next couple of weeks, So I see a lot of these other Chicano accounts that are like 200,000. I'm like, dang, how do they get that far? But it's all organic. So, it's cool. I'm down with it.
yeah.
This is the familia,
Definitely, man. Yeah, I love the fact that it's organic and I think that's the best way, man.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
Yeah.
the most loyal. You're gonna get your most loyal followers and fan base or whatever audience.
Yeah.
But Johnny,
And
man,
honestly,
oh,
Facebook, shout out to Facebook because we have like 35,000 on Facebook. And this is
that's
how I
right.
look at it. And I think it's important for those of us that are in the industry to understand what we're building. So Facebook, I call Facebook the audience, right? We have 35,000 there. And then out of there, I created Chicano Hollywood super fans. So we get that about 600 or 700 right now. We're going to get to about 1,000 or more, right? The goal is to build those both up. The super fans, I'm cultivating that group to be somewhere where someone, let's say someone has they want to drop a music video early, or they have a new TV show, or they have something they want to test out. A comic can test out some jokes and they do it on video. I'm creating these super fans that they are 1,000% behind whatever we do. So I want our network to know, like, we're going to create these loyal Chicano fans that can tell you, hey, that joke sucked, or maybe that monologue sucked, or we love it. We just need to be able to test our content out. I know, like, a lot of professional comedians like Adam Sandler, all, Robin Williams would do this, may rest in peace, and others, that they would just show up to these comedy clubs just to test a joke out for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And, that's a common thing with comics, right? So I wanted to create Chicano Hollywood super fans on Facebook. It's a private group. I think it's public right now. It's a group that we can test things out on. So we just started that. And once I get to about 1,000, I'm going to really make it more public. But it's a breaking news for your podcast right now. But I want to do that so that we can continue to build actors, actresses, artists, so. But Facebook is our audience. That's we have 35,000 people that they send me messages saying we need more Chicano sitcoms. We need more Chicano leads. They're ready for us. That's why we're doing this for them. So IG are the players, Facebook is the audience, and that's what we're cultivating.
I love it, Johnny. Man, you got it all sorted out, man.
Now we just need money. Got the cards, got to put gas in it.
I hear you, man. Hey, Johnny, man, it's always a pleasure, brother. And I want to thank you for coming on and sharing so much with us here. And I want to thank you for yours for including me and getting me involved as a creator.
Brother. As soon as you get your masterclass done and out, I will send you a message and we'll promote it.
Oh man, that's beautiful. I appreciate you, man. And once again, man, yeah, it's all love. It's all, it's all the culture. It's all the community. It's all Chicano Hollywood, man. And it's beautiful, man. And again, I'm any way I can get involved and stay involved is, I'm here for you, man. And again, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Appreciate your family. Thank you so much. And let's keep doing it. It's only historical if we do it together. That's it. We got to keep doing it together. So.
That's right. That's why I chose that song, Johnny. If you notice, I chose for the promotion by El Chicano.
Yeah.
What was the song? It's called Juntos.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
That's it.
And that's it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Murillo, go download the app. It's available on Apple. It's available on Roku.
Roku, Fire Stick, Google, Android, iOS. If you got iPhone, Google, Android, just whatever. Go to your app store. It might be Chicano Hollywood one word or Chicano Hollywood 2 words. It depends on your app store. But yeah, do it now and watch everything. Get those ads dropping in. I got all excited when I saw Burger King ad. I saw 76 ad. I saw Kim Kardashian ad. So wow. I was like, yeah. I mean, I never got excited about commercials until now. So get that stuff going.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Get involved, ladies and gentlemen. Get involved with the movement. This is a movement. Damn.
Yes.
It's not. We're here to stay. It's here to stay.
Yes, yeah.
You heard the man.
There's a Chicano renaissance going on right now, and we need to embrace that. All of us. Don't shy away from it. Don't downplay it. I'm down for every Latino, though. Let me make that super clear. I'm down for everybody.
Absolutely.
I just want to get our community, our voice up to where everybody else is, and I celebrate where they're at, but we got to get up just so we're next to you. That's all. We're not going to try to pass. We're not going to step on you. We're going to get next to you, And so the Chicano community, West Coast community, we need to embrace our Chicano heritage. And it's our voice that we need to own. And that's what it's all about. So it's a renaissance. And from music to content to small businesses, we're in an era right now that we're going to explode, and I'm happy and proud, and I feel a calling from God that this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now, and I know there's others like me. So let's do it.
It sounds like a lot of fun, Johnny. Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Bro. Thank you, man.
Thank you, man. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, get involved. Go connect with Chicano Hollywood Musica. Download the app. Instagram, Facebook. I mean, anywhere, any platform you can find, you'll find Chicano Hollywood. And like I said, man, it's this is fascinating, man. And we're only getting started, baby. So
that's it. We're just the beginning.
That's right, man. For Johnny Al Murillo, I want to thank you once again, brother. I'm Double A, your host of the Profile Pod, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in once again. We will see you guys next time on the Profile Pod. And again, this has been one for the ages, man. And so I'm really proud of having Johnny on. And don't forget to leave me a rate review. Connect with me on Instagram. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, all the apps, man. Twitter. What else? I think I'm on.
You're doing all those. I got to do some of those.
Facebook. Yeah, I know, man. So once again, everybody, thank you so much, Johnny. For Johnny Murillo, I'm Double A, reminding you to always take it easy.
Amen. Thank you, brother.
Peace.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Johnny.
All right, we'll see you. Have a good night.
You too, brother.